What is going on, guys? Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're watching this video, it's because you signed up for the first chapter of my latest book, Who the Fuck Am I? A perfectly imperfect guide to become woke at life, discover your purpose, and scale your potential. I want to make it clear that I fucked up. I fucked up to the point that I was virtually homeless for like a month. And over the course of me writing my book, it was kind of a reflection of how can I help people not do what I did, skip the mistakes or the big mistakes, and then get to the next level. In December, I lost my dad, in December of 2017. So the entire year of 2018 could have been, or it was, the rabbit hole that I didn't even know I was in. And I experienced grief, obviously, because I've never been in a situation where I've lost a very close, dear, loving family member. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. I didn't know that there was a thing to handle your emotions. I just didn't know about it. I wasn't aware. It was never given to me like how to handle my emotions. And I put myself in this rabbit hole with alcohol. So I got addicted to alcohol. And it was quite intense. And I'm going to be honest with you because it's one of those things where you need to understand that everybody has hangups. That's kind of why I wrote my book. So the three things that I experienced along with grief is depression, anxiety, and addiction. I think everybody to some degree has this. I think over 17 million people in the U.S. suffer from one or all three of those diagnoses. But we don't tell anybody, and that's the thing. We don't actively look for help. We don't make it clear. We keep it all bottled in only to put ourselves in this rabbit hole. So who the fuck am I? Actually came in light of a lot of different books. It was Unfuck Yourself, it was Fuck Feelings, it was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, I Used to Be a Miserable Fuck. That inspiration, because I was of course reading and working on just trying to improve myself, I realized that I was living for somebody else's expectations. And the book summary goes my background and the foundation. So the background is how I was dealing with my stuff. My life story, giving to you of like what I was doing wrong, how I fell into the rabbit hole, along with the depression, grief, and anxiety. Well, I had that. And, you know, occasionally we always have those very strong emotions and we don't do anything about it. We just kind of mask it. So the first step that I had to realize was I screwed up. After he passed away, it was in my intention to kind of hit a point where I needed to support my family. I was a grad assistant at the time at the university. I graduated, and I was very complacent. I will say this. I was very complacent. I was my title, the fact that I'm a GA, you're supposed to give me some sort of leeway. That's not how the world works. But going from there, what I learned was I was living for external factors, titles, a degree, some sort of you should be paying attention to me. It was almost narcissistic, and it was kind of sad looking back. And gratitude and empathy. I thought I knew it all. And to be quite honest, even at this point, I don't know shit. So pushing forward, in 2 months, I actually ended up getting a job in Fort Worth. And so I moved out of my house that I was in Stephenville. I moved to Fort Worth, and I get the big boy job. Big boy corporate America scheduling coordinator job for a company. And at first it was okay. I was like, I'm happy. I knew my dad would have wanted me to do this. I'm making more money. And to be quite honest, I wish I saved my money or actually was more fiscally responsible than what I did. I didn't know what happy hour was, of course, because I just didn't know what it was like. And I literally went from wandering around campus as a GA, probably working for 4 hours at a time, having a lot of breaks, and then like I'm stuck at a job 8 to 5. And I completely hated it. I hated it so much that I timed myself how many minutes it would take for me to get to work if I got up at a certain time. Like, I hated it. I worked there for 4 months, and because I masked my grief, and because I didn't understand how to handle my emotions, I ate myself to fill a void. I stopped working out. I went from a relatively 220 pounds that's sort of healthy to 260. I started suffering from heart problems. I was always sedentary at a job. I was always anxious because the job itself was it wasn't even high pressure. It was very stressful. And I wouldn't recommend working for a company like that. I hated it. It wasn't for me. And the funniest thing is that I was also going to grad school at that time, and I was full time as well. And so I did my best trying to tell the COO, like, hey, I'm not feeling this. Is there something else I can do? Even if that means I have to drive to Dallas, I'll do it. And he said something about it's all about opportunity and you just don't have it right now. Even then, I gave him a training and development program that I thought could help his company, and he completely shitted on it. Decided to just say fuck it. One night, I was on call. It was literally my last, I think it was like in May 10th or something like that. I was on call. I just finished getting my grades for my class, and I'm out on 7th Street in Fort Worth, and I partied till like 2 o'clock in the morning, was so drunk, fell asleep in my truck, right? And the next day, I show up like an hour late, and the COO's at my desk asking what the fuck I'm doing, and I give him the phone, and I say I'm done, I'm out, I quit. And like that, I was just done. From there into May, I ended up moving back home out of where I live, had to realize like that it's not like it's in the books. The everything you learn about business is not in the books, and I screwed up, and the worst part was I couldn't call my dad. Luckily, I started getting a job I ended up getting an office manager job, took a pay cut, and the cool thing is it was nonprofit with mental health professionals, so mental health counselors, therapists, stuff like that. And over the course of like June to about November, I still had my bad habits, and because I was in a new industry, a new position, I had more pressure, less pay. I really had to reflect on how do I manage with what I'm doing. And from there, from November 18, it was that was when I started writing my book. I had a breakthrough. So going from here, the book summary is essentially me telling you how life's not a journey, it's a process. And you need to start living to your own expectations, but you have to understand that change is needed for growth. And from there, realize that your past, everybody has hang-ups, everybody has some sort of fuck up in their life. That is fuel to your future. That is fuel. You have to really desire to get to the next level. And I ended up creating these 4 pillars. And I use the example of a chair. If I have a 4-legged chair and I take off one of the legs, it's going to be slanted, right? There's no foundation. So these 4 columns are your foundation to start living a life filled with purpose, to live with intention. But you need to understand that you have to know how to manage your emotions, and that's one of the things that I go through with these columns. The first column is having a peace of mind. You have to really understand that you're not perfect, and it's perfectly okay that you're not perfect. And the person next to you is not perfect. And not any software, not any human, not any dog, not any life is ever perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. That's why I call it a perfectly imperfect guide. Because even the guide itself, it's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be a guide. It's not supposed to be rules. It's supposed to be guidelines. And I got the inspiration from the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. I think they used the word parlay. I think parlay meant, parlay, you're not supposed to kill a pirate or kill me. And then it's more like guidelines and actual rules. I think that's what Captain Barbosa says. So that's what I use for that. And then pushing forward, the second thing you have to realize is to maintain your body. You're gonna die one day. You're gonna die one day. And if you keep on wallowing in self-pity, there's nobody's gonna do anything for you. You have to really desire change. You have to really desire growth. You have to just start fucking up forward. Put every foot, right? Just put every foot forward and keep pushing forward. Like there's no such thing as perfection. Perfectionism is illusion. Being normal is illusion. I'm weird as shit, and I know that. And I'd rather be weird as shit than be normal. The status quo concept that I discuss highly about, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to convey that you're picture perfect, trying to convey that you're Instagram worthy, or whatever the fuck it is, that is an illusion. I debunk it by making you become internally driven instead of externally driven. Don't look for titles, look to deliver a service. Look to help somebody. That's how I help you. That is what it means to discover your purpose. How do I help somebody other than myself? Because when I help somebody other than myself, law of reciprocity comes in, and then people are going to want to help me because I did them a service. I did them a gesture. I was kind to them. The second thing, after maintaining your body, right? And I'm not talking to be a CrossFit athlete, but you do have to have a decent diet, and you do have to be able to take care of yourself, right? The third thing is you have to have good fiscal responsibility with your money and with your time. Your time is money, and money is time. And until you hit a certain point where you can buy back your time, you have to start looking to what is really important. Going to the strip club or taking care of your kid. Going out partying on the weekends or investing yourself into a business. That is the difference. I talk a little bit about how to change your viewpoints of like removing expenses that are unnecessary at this point so you can enjoy them later. And I'm not talking about financial advising or certified financial planning. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you being financially responsible for your own shit. Okay? To this day, I don't understand how people will go after they get their paycheck, they'll go and like buy everything at the mall and then come back and they're like, well, where the fuck is my money? Where's my rent? I don't understand that. And lastly, the last pillar is your network is your net worth. And I believe Sharon Shavasta, I can't remember what his name is or how to pronounce it. Transformation doesn't happen in isolation. If you're hanging out with bums, you're going to be a bum. If you're hanging out with introverts, you're going to be an introvert. You have to really desire to do some sort of good service that you're inclined to discover your purpose, discover your potential. You can't do it alone. You're not going to be able to do it alone. I am not the smartest person in the world. Maybe slightly. I could say I'm kind of smart, but I'm dumb as shit given in the sense that I don't know anything about finance. I don't know anything about analytics. I find other people, help them to help me, and that's how I build my network, because that's going to be my net worth. And so that's exactly what I discuss in the book. I fucked up. I know that. But I needed to write the book to let you know that getting out of hypnosis, stop living up to the status quo, stop keeping up with the Joneses, it's going to cause so much relief the minute that you stop trying to do that. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in for this video. And girls, if you have any questions, go ahead, leave a comment down in the comment section or email me. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you have anything about the book or you just need a little bit more insight, I highly recommend to check it out. It's already uploaded on Amazon, and I hope you enjoy the free first chapter that I gave you. If you don't have the first chapter, go ahead, click the link down in the description, and that will be sent to you. But nonetheless, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am now on LinkedIn at Grayhouse Consult and Grayhouse Co. Links will be down below, or it'll be in the YouTube chart somewhere around. Until next time, guys, stay tuned.